Recently, I posted a scenario to illustrate ethical frameworks. Click the card up here to rewatch that if you like. Anyway, the scenario is a common one that EMS providers will confront many times in their career. What's interesting to me is that I used it as an ethical scenario, but it may have illustrated to me poor understanding of advanced directives among EMS providers. I'm Angry Bill, and this is pre-hospital wisdom. We understand that medicine's medicine, but pre-hospital providers have special skills, knowledge, and culture that other providers don't have. Let's raise the bar here a little bit. Do me a quick favor before we really get rolling. Click the like button and subscribe. It helps more than you realize. So here's the scenario. You respond to a cardiac arrest and find a pulseless and apneic 65-year-old male. There are 6 or 8 of his family members around as well. The patient has a valid DNR, but the entire group of family members say to work him. What's the right thing to do? On one side, the DNR says to pronounce him. On the other side, there is a whole bunch of upset and emotional people who want you to work him. They're going to get even more upset if you don't. Plus, death is the irreversible choice. It is the option that you can't come back from. What's the right answer? The right answer is to pronounce the patient. I can't say that more clearly. Pronounce the patient. The reason for that is based on the 4 main ethical principles of medicine. Beneficence is having the welfare of the patient as your main goal. Non-malfeasance is avoiding harm and avoiding ineffective treatments. Justice is the act of ensuring your skills are evenly spread throughout society, not just caring for rich people, for example. Finally, autonomy is the ethical principle that holds that people should be allowed to make their own decisions about what medical care they do and don't receive. Autonomy is the primary principle in this case. People are allowed to choose what care they receive and don't receive. Advanced directives are instructions that are given while a patient is able to make decisions, but are held for the future when they can't decide. Advanced directives include living wills as well as various do not resuscitate forms. Living wills are more complex forms that have extensive choices about enteral feeding, antibiotics, proxy decision makers, and that kind of thing. They can get up to 20 pages or so, which makes them a pain in the ass for pre-hospital providers. The good news is that they usually have a page that hits the high points, like an executive summary for CPR instructions. That's not what I'm talking about here. Do not resuscitate forms have various versions. In Colorado, where I work, the most common form that I have been seeing recently is the MOST form. I love that it has yes CPR, no CPR right at the top where it's easy to find. Anyway, with CPR directives, there's a spot at the bottom for a physician's signature. This shows that a physician discussed the options with the patient, they were competent decision makers regarding their care, and the listed choices are the actual patient's choices. Notice what the form doesn't have. A spot for daughters, sons, grandchildren, bystanders, paramedics, friends, ministers, or anyone else to sign. Because nobody cares what those other people think in this case. Their opinion does not matter. Dude, you don't even need to tell your spouse about this decision, even though most people do. An adult decision maker doesn't need anyone's permission to institute advanced directives. They don't need to tell anyone else. They don't need to discuss it with anyone else. Many patients don't discuss these decisions with most of their family members. They feel it is a private decision. They may feel that the family members would disagree with the decision. They may feel judged by their family members. They may feel that the discussion would be uncomfortable and is just best avoided. Whatever the reason is, I don't care. The guiding principle for me is the same. People are allowed to choose what care they personally receive and don't receive. They have a form that tells me what they have decided that they want after a discussion with their primary care provider explaining their options. The PCP signed off that the patient was making a rational and informed decision. All of that, along with what their decision is contained right there in the DNR form. So show me a CPR directive, MOST form, or other DNR type paperwork, and I will call for a time of death. Hell, even mention that a DNR form exists and I'm good to go. Now, technically speaking, a MOST form is a way to lay out medical orders. Medical orders can be changed by another medical provider, but the MOST orders do clearly communicate the patient's wishes, which should be honored, even when it makes their family members really, really sad. My opinion is that you will be best off when you focus on the patient's documented wishes. Don't complicate a call when you don't have to. So where do we stand? It's uncomfortable when you are the one to tell them, but family members can't rescind a DNR form. Oh yeah, that brings me to another discussion point, durable medical power of attorney. I'm his power of attorney and I say do everything you can to save him. The only person that can rescind an advanced directive in Colorado is the person who made it. So a power of attorney can rescind the DNR, but only if they're the ones who made the decision and signed the form. If the patient made the decision, signed the DNR, and then made their kid durable medical power of attorney and then croaked, sorry, the patient's the only one who can take the DNR back. The DNR takes precedence over the power of attorney. The only way a power of attorney can rescind the DNR is if their signature is the one on the bottom of it. So let me say, all of this is for Colorado. Each state has their own specific statutes and forms. I don't know about different states or other countries. Google it, baby. But I pretty much guarantee that if you think your state is grossly different from what I've explained here, it's most likely that you have a misunderstanding of what's needed. No state's going to have a DNR law that says anyone can rescind another person's clearly documented decisions because a third party would be made sad. I get it that things would go easier for us if people talked to their loved ones in advance and everyone was on the same page. But that's an unreasonable expectation. Your job isn't easy. Either deal with it or get a new career. Let me know what you think of this. If you found value from this video, click like and subscribe. One of the most helpful things you can do is share this content with someone you know. Click down here for another video or click over here for the channel page and all videos. Subscribe's another button below. I'm Angry Bill. This is Pre-Hospital Wisdom. And until next time, stay safe.